And we'll call the meeting to order. Port of Allyn, July 5th, 2017. Please join me in the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tonight's agenda, we have consent items. We have minutes of regular meeting, June 5th, minutes of special meeting, June 19th, financial reports.
I move we accept the minutes of the regular meeting and the special meeting and the financial reports as submitted.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Under action items, we have general fund vouchers 17-234 to 17-257, payment of payroll vouchers 17-258 to 17-269, payment of water fund vouchers 17-23 to 17-25. I have a motion to pay for the payroll, water fund, and general fund vouchers.
So moved.
Second.
A motion with a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner reports. Judy?
Went to the regular meeting, of course, June 5th, June 16th. I did the Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization tour of Jefferson County. And we had a totem pole tour. I didn't get to see the whole thing, but it did inspire me to try to get a hold of the Squaxin tribe, which there is a member there, to see what we can do about ours that is rotting.
Nice.
So at least we're working on it, and we all got the totem pole magazine from and he's one of the carvers, and he does a lot of carving up there.
Does he do restorations?
I'm not sure, but that's something that I'll try to find out about. And then we did the port workshop. I went to the Port of Duato meeting and got to listen in just because I just thought I was curious what was going on. They are working on getting a helipad. You know, they have a big parking lot already, but they're trying to make it official and pave it and all that stuff. And another thing that I thought was kind of cool, there's a father who brings two daughters, he homeschools, and he's trying to get them involved in learning about what ports do. So she gave a report on the Port of Duato, and you know, we've talked about trying to get our school kids to come and maybe help us with some things, but maybe we could have her come and give a little report later.
Did she do the research?
Yeah.
And then just gives a report of what she knows?
Yeah, well, she did it on the Port of Duato. I mean,
Right.
on Duato, actually.
Oh, on Duato.
On just Duato. But I was really encouraged about that fact that the dad was doing that, so that was pretty cool. June 26th, went to the North Mason Community Voice. This one was pretty much a brainstorm as to what they wanted to do. So far, what we're going to try to do this coming month, Pastor Joaquin Miguel of the Agua Viva Church, you know, the one that's going in on North Shore, he's going to come and speak because, you know, we have a very large Guatemalan community in this area. And then August, I can't remember, September is going to be candidate month with the school district, two candidates, you know, LeAnn and Mike, and then also the two port candidates, Houston and Ted. I'm going to invite them. And then in October is going to be Christmas tree, log industry history, kind of. And you know, Don Cady, he and Herm Nelson are going to come and speak at the North Mason Community Voice. So that should be pretty cool. And then, of course, I did the Oyster House meeting, and we're moving forward with shoreline permits. That's it.
Jean?
I went to the North Mason Chamber at the Hood Canal Telecommunications, which is really nice to see a lot of people that I hadn't seen for a while. And I don't know why they had it way down there, but they did, and it was a pretty good turnout. Our special meeting, our workshop, I think was constructive. You know, I'd like to really see us grow in areas when it comes to our executive director and benefits and things like that. You know, we know that when we went and sought a person for that position, you know, I think we could have had a larger audience. had we had a better package for that person too. Not that we didn't get a good person, we did, but I think that's something you have to do, you need to take care of in the future. And I think we all know that, and trying to find the right package with the right price on it. It's going to be really challenging, and hopefully they can go and do something with the Port Association and work with that and have them help us with that. So I think that was a real constructive workshop anyway.
Thanks. Yeah, myself, I did go to the 2 meetings the month and look forward to meeting with, what's her name, Larry, for...
Oh, Elizabeth Gillian?
Yeah, Elizabeth Gillian, to work towards kind of pressuring the WPPA into some sort of benefit plans for small ports, because currently there is none, and I'm sure we're not the only small port struggling to come up with a package for our employees. And I do have a correspondence that LeAnn Krotzer would like read into the meeting minutes, so I'll do that now, because I have nothing else to report. I did go to a EDC meeting, nothing out of the ordinary there. So this is to all the commissioners, and it's asked to read this letter aloud at the next regular Port of Allyn meeting and put into your minutes. The Executive Director of the Port of Allyn, Lary Coppola, approached the Executive Director of the Port of Dewatto, LeAnn Krotzer, and Commissioner Lynette McLean to ask how they felt about a merge. The Port of Dewatto did not approach Mr. Coppola with this desire and does not want to merge with the Port of Allyn. We feel that Mr. Coppola misinformed his commission and community on the intent he brought to the Port of Dewatto. Thank you for extending an invitation to us to have a joint meeting, but the Port of Dewatto would like to decline. We look forward to a professional and friendly relationship with you. Sincerely, by the direction of the Commission of the Port of Dewatto, LeAnn Krotzer, Executive Director. For you, LeAnn?
Thank you.
And I'm not sure if that includes me meeting with their board chair. I'm still planning on doing that. I have not done that yet, just to talk and clear the air about anything.
I think they were pretty clear at the meeting when they were here, what their...
The community?
The
Yeah,
community,
they were.
I mean, I understood that well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so...
All right. Moving on, Executive Director's Report.
All right, Schedule 22, Policy. We've now plowed through the entire 130 items covered in Schedule 22 updates from the State Auditor, most of which applied to us were simply housekeeping items and you approved a number of resolutions in response to those. However, I believe we should undertake a complete review of all of our policies and procedures and update them not only as called for in the resolutions, but look at and update all of our policies and procedures as needed. In addition to personnel and financial policies, we need to look at mandatory updates to IT policies regarding protection of confidential data like credit card information. I expect this entire process to take the best part of a year to complete, but I feel very strongly that it's necessary. What I intend to do is bring the updates to you to review and approve periodically as I complete them until the project is finished.
When was the last time that was done? Or do you know?
Probably when Bonnie was here.
When you say a year, how much do you estimate per week you'd work on it?
Well, it depends on how many grants you have me writing.
Let's say 3.
Yeah. It's going to depend. You know, personnel policies, we just did those, so there's just few to be done there. The financial policies, we pretty much ran through all those with Schedule 22. So that's just basically a lot of cut and paste kind of stuff. But the IT policies kind of scare me because they're very detailed in what you have to do. So I want to get some more information on that before I embark on that. And the rest of it is just looking at what we have. We have a manual, but I don't think anybody's ever looked at it in years, and I need to look and see what's in it. But I just think it's necessary that we, bring everything current. So it's, some of them are things where I could maybe come to a meeting and say, here's 5 of them, but, another meeting might just be 1 item. So it's just,
Yeah, that's great.
procurement cards. As recommended in Schedule 22, we've applied to U.S. Bank for credit cards. As per U.S. Bank's contract with the State Department of Enterprise Services, these have a lower interest rate than we pay our current provider. They are general use cards for you all and myself, and one specifically for fleet vehicles. We also receive annual rebates on both cards for the charges we've made. In emails back and forth with the U.S. Bank, it appears approval is a bit of a formality, and I look for us to have them in hand sometime this month. Criminalization of marina rules. As you know, in 2015, you adopted a resolution concerning criminalization of our marina rules. Rob Johnson vetted them. We made the changes suggested, and he sent them to the county commissioners for approval. Well, it turns out the clerk of the board never put them on the commissioner's agenda for approval. We just discovered this inadvertently at the recent WPPA meeting in Suncadia. I spoke with Commissioner Netherland about it, and he said the commissioners may want me to come and testify at one of their meetings about it. I heard back from the clerk last week requesting a meeting on the 17th at 11:30 a.m., so I'll be there. Repayment of the IDD loan. I've transferred $30,000 from our general fund into the IDD fund to repay the money we borrowed from the IDD fund in 2016 to cover operating expenses. Our expenses are averaging about $25,000 a month, and we currently have right around $80,000 in the general fund after the transfer, plus another $30,000 in the state pool. We'll also see another spike in income in November from property tax collections, and we're also coming into our greatest revenue generating periods right now. So I was comfortable moving that money and believe we'll make it through the year without any shortfalls unless something unexpected happens.
Are we doing better this year down over at the North Shore?
I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know. I have been buried in this grant for weeks, and I have not taken the time to look.
Okay.
I can look here in a minute if you want,
I
though.
drove by there a couple times on the 4th, and my assumption is we did quite well, at least on the 4th.
Without the credit card machine, what do we count, 490?
Yeah, just in cash.
In cash,
That's good.
Yeah.
90.
490.
490.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I know we're up on annual passes too.
Yeah, there were several items.
Huge.
passed.
Were we pretty busy on here?
Yeah, we had to refill the box with envelopes once over the weekend,
Yeah.
so they got all used up.
Okay.
Inventory of assets, as called out in Schedule 22, and by 2 of the resolutions you passed, we're embarking upon putting together a complete inventory list of all the property and equipment we own. We'll be doing it as an Excel spreadsheet so it can easily be updated. Computer issues, I believe we finally got this sorted out. Charles has reconfigured the home group and got all the previous data migrated, and things appear to finally be running smoothly. And speaking of inventorying our assets, he also removed the hard drives from all the old computers we had in that room upstairs so we can recycle them.
Will, I'm sorry to interrupting you, but the county has a department where they do the depreciation of the assets. You might want to work with them.
I'll find out about
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Thank you. But the computers are so old, they have serial ports, not USB ports. So I'm pretty sure nobody'd want to buy them if we surplus them. Website update, except for the public records request form, we finished updating the website. We're also 30% under our budget for the year for that project. We've simplified the site by eliminating things that didn't really get used and reorganized it in a more user-friendly way. We've also linked it to our Facebook page, and it's scalable for mobile. Skateboard park, I contacted the representative of the Beards Cove Owners Association on Monday. He emailed me back that no decision has been made. Water system issue.
Question,
No.
what's the ask there? If they want one, or if they've got property for one?
Just that they want one is what we asked.
Okay.
And they don't seem to want to answer the question.
Right, well, we had one person here that lived there.
Water system issues, we're getting close to submission on this. We've provided Northwest Water Systems with just about everything they've asked for, but need to finish writing some missing customer service policies and procedures for the system. Looking forward to getting this off my plate shortly. Also, our water system franchise agreement with Mason County is up for renewal this year. However, we don't know if we're in the June-July timeframe or September-October group. I suspect September-October since we haven't heard anything from them. We don't have to do anything more until then. We've already done. They'll send us information when we get closer. We've already obtained an updated evidence of coverage insurance form from Honduras, and the county will send us their required form when the time comes, so we're good for the moment. I haven't heard anything more from the developer who inquired about the 17-unit condo project. This would require extending our 8-inch water main from its termination point at Lakeland Drive almost to the kayak park. I wrote a letter to the developer explaining this and telling them they'll be responsible for any and all costs associated with doing so, but we would agree to a newcomer's agreement that allowed them to recapture part of their costs should anyone tap into the extended main between them and where it is now. Gazebo bricks. The new bricks are in place and we have commitments for more than 40 of them, which is enough to pay the entire cost of that little project. We have some payments in hand and others will be collected before the etching is done. Everything we sell from this point forward is money we can put into reserves or use for something else.
So where are they at exactly?
Just right next to the bricks that were there. Just as you're walking up the walk, right before you get to where the bricks were, they're right there. Derelict vessel, DNR is reimbursed us $500 for our expenses concerning the derelict vessel scamper. According to DNR officials, there was only so much money left in the reimbursement fund and had to be split up among all the claimants like us. Our total reimbursement costs are around $750 if you include the moorage, lady who bought Scamper. And what I said here is it's still moored at our dock, which it was when I wrote this, but it's not now, as you can see by looking out the window. She's still waiting for a part from Ireland to be able to move it under its own power, but she said she'd get it off our dock and anchor it out. So meanwhile, she was billed at the $1 per foot per day.
How many days in July was she there?
You have to ask LeAnn, I'm not sure.
And so we're going to bill her for July as well?
June or July?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just depends
Daily.
on what day she left.
Okay. But she was there the whole month of June?
Yeah. Honduras, our coverage with Honduras renews on September 1st, and we received a letter from them telling us to prepare for an overall increase, 3.9% for 2018. This translates into just under $600 more than we budgeted in 2017. Buy a software upgrade. We're planning on beginning to move forward this coming week to start the conversation. However, that'll entail us filling out spreadsheets and other paperwork so they can get us set up. Once we're set up, we'll begin training. Our actual conversion date will be January 1st, 2018, so we'll be on QuickBooks till year's end. I talked to her about the payments on it. We don't have to make the first half of the $4,818.75 annual fee until next year, so we can include that in the 2018 budget. We'll have to make the 3805.20 one-time startup somewhere near the end of this year, depending on the setup and training times. They'll invoice us near the end of those. And then we have 30 days, so it's entirely possible none of that could come due this year when it's all said and done. If we haven't been billed, if they don't bill us by the end of the year, it can be paid in 2018, and I'll budget for that. Excuse me. Renting out the small office, we got this cleaned out pretty much, and I'm going to have Don painted inside as well. You asked me to recommend a rate schedule as well. What I think is appropriate is $25 an hour with a minimum of 2 hours, $75 for half day, $100 for all day. We'll put a desk in there, and we have a small conference table in there, and there's Wi-Fi, and we'll put a generic computer in there.
Have we advertised that at all yet?
Not yet. I want Don to get it finished.
Yeah.
We're going to take that desk back there and move it up there.
And so, for the audience, that's going to be basically a office for maybe
For home-based businesses, if
Yeah.
they need a place to meet with somebody or
print out something.
Yeah. You know. Public records issues, we continue in the holding pattern on this for the moment until I can continue researching
There's
additional
a new
vendors.
law that takes effect July
there's-
23rd?
Yeah, that's going to be helpful.
Yeah. No, we'll have to probably come up with a new policy, figuring out how we're gonna charge for that.
Right,
Because the law doesn't say how you charge, it just says you can charge.
yes. Well, I need to find out for certain what everything has. Entrepreneurial classes, we're continuing to hold these classes here, and we had a request from the chamber to hold them at night so they can try and increase attendance. Coder Dojo classes, I'm hopeful to be able to focus on this in time for the new school year, because it's something I strongly believe in. Trade show booth, we've ordered the materials for ours and one for the Oyster House, and we should have both of them in time for Allyn Days. ROII, we've been approved and are now enrolled in the program as of July 1. I've taken the safety class, and at that they handed out some personnel policies we should explore adopting. They sent me copies of them. We can work on those when we look at the rest of the policies and procedures. LTAC money, I attended the last LTAC meeting but felt it was basically a waste of time. All funding for what we wanted to do with this has been eliminated, but we can approach the agency of record with our needs as well as advantages and features of our wedding venues, and they'll supposedly incorporate it into marketing materials. I will attempt to meet with them the next time they're in this area. They're headquartered in Hood River, Oregon, and come here only periodically. The next LTAC meeting is July 27th.
Where is that at? Is that the commission chamber?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Power and water at the Allyn Marina. I've completed the grant. Well, I shouldn't say I've completed the grant application. I have not, but I will complete it before the night is over, because it has to be submitted by midnight. And I will submit it after you all approve the resolution that's on the agenda. I have until midnight to submit it, but I did need this resolution included. I reached out to local organizations for letters of recommendation, which I've submitted as part of it and got them from the EDC, the Chamber, and the ACA. Grant requires a 25% match, which is a little over $101,000, but part of that can be in kind, including our own labor and materials. I spoke with Don about running the water line down there. We need a larger line to service that many boats, and he can do that. His time and the materials would all count against the in-kind. We could fund any balance of the match with any combination of a loan from IDD, a general obligation bond, or possibly out of our capital budget, but we can cross that bridge when we get there. Our RCO grant advisor told me he doesn't hold out much hope for success with this, as we're competing nationally for what's relatively a small pool of money. However, I'm still optimistic. The package is fairly solid. If nothing else, it's been a positive learning experience for me. And now I know how the state grant website works and what to expect. We're also eligible once again for RCO grants in the 2018 grant cycle. And then I had a conversation with him about 4 o'clock today, and he told me, he said, well, you really shouldn't have applied for this one. There's another one you could have applied for. But we can't get as much money. But he said, what we're competing with now will be national. He said the other one is just statewide. He said we'd probably only be competing with 4 or 5 other grants. So if nothing else, I'll just hold on to everything I've done here and tweak it up when the time comes. WPPA meeting dates, Executive Director's Annual Seminar is up next, July 12th to 14th in Long Beach. Small Port Seminar, October 25th, 27th in Leavenworth. Annual meeting, November 15th to 17th in Seattle. And
What about our commission meeting? That's coming up this month.
I don't know when that is. It wasn't listed on their site.
July 20, Monday, July 24th, and
Yeah.
Tuesday, July 25th.
Yeah, at Alderbrook.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you all have reservations for one night each. Vacation reminder, I'd like to take off July 18th to 25th, the week after Allyn Days. I'm planning a baseball road trip with Bryce.
Great.
So I'll take my iPad and have Outlook on the port's phones.
I have a question. The beach closure that happened here a little over a week ago or whatever it was, that's happened before here. And did they have any kind of idea what it was caused by?
Not that I'm aware of. Somebody else.
And what?
They
and
talked
what?
to Dawn about it.
Pardon me?
Yes.
I got two.
I took the phone call.
So, I mean, is there anything that we can do to, So-
No, it's just, there's nothing we can do.
I want to make sure we're not doing anything that we, you know.
It was very strange because it was only between the old boat ramp and the dock. On either side of that area, tested fine. It was just between that area.
So do we need to put up deterrent for the seagulls not to, I mean, are they nesting underneath?
No.
Living there. There's too many of them.
Do we need to put up anything?
You have to get a scientist out here to tell you what to do there.
Yeah, and I don't know what language the seagulls use.
Didn't they say that because of the fish kill out there, all of the herring or something like that attracted all the seagulls, so it's kind of an isolated.
Okay.
I'd like to bring that up because I'm in the real estate business. We had two different couples that were looking at property, walked the dock and went, ew, you have Ghana on your, what are you going to do about that? And of course I directed them to LeAnn. But no, that is an eyesore. It's unhealthy, it's freaky. I would address that.
Yeah, we can do that during public comment if that's okay. Thank you.
I know we talked, what, a couple of years ago, maybe a year, I think you were here.
I know there's ecology concerns with pressure washing.
Yeah.
No, we talked about putting some wiring,
They did.
up there.
It's been done before. Years ago, there was that plastic stuff.
It didn't work.
All right, moving on to our agenda. Were you done, Gene?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, no, you're okay. Security report. Travis.
All right. I have a paper this time. Well, the kayak park bathroom got damaged and vandalized this month. This has happened last year too, so each year it happens once. Probably need to address putting a more secure door there that they can't really get into. We've had conversations about that between Don, Larry, and I, so there's something going on that. So the bathroom was locked for a fair portion of the month. We did reopen it up for the 4th of July weekend just to make sure that it was available. Took a phone call from Debbie Riley with Mason County Public Health regarding the fecal call forms. It was just between the old decrepit boat ramp and our dock. On either side of those areas, the levels were fine. She called within 4 or 5 days, I believe, and said we could take the signs down, that the water levels were okay again. So it wasn't really a very long span. She gave us signs to put up, and we were allowed to keep those signs. And she will just call again if the condition comes up again and we can put the signs up. A woman lost her purse, and Don found it. Don waited around where he found the purse, and nobody showed up. Zoe brought it in and locked it up in the upper office. I got a call about 6 hours later from a husband looking for his wife's purse. Said that they had used a location service and said that it was in the Port Allyn building, and they were with the party that rented the gazebo, and they had access to the downstairs. I saw them down here earlier in the day. Said, well, did you look around downstairs? They're like, well, yeah, but it's not there. It still tells us it's in the Port Allyn building. So I called Don, and Don's like, yeah, I found a purse. All right. So I came down here and checked her ID, and it was indeed her purse. So that was solved.
Good.
Other than that, went pretty good. The 4th of July weekend, no cops getting called, no catastrophes.
How was that area? Last year it was,
Last year, it was actually much lighter than it was last year, a lot less people.
oh good. Did they aim it that way?
Well, actually what happened was like most of the people that brought fireworks moved it over to the other side of the boat ramp.
To the
To
right
that
side?
stretch of grass where in front of the residential homes. And that's where most of the fireworks were shot off.
Okay.
The winds didn't do their thing in the road, so that was very helpful. And I mean, there was only a few incidents of fireworks going awry, but all in all, it seemed pretty safe.
Good.
Safe being a relative term.
Yeah.
Very relative, yes.
That's great.
That's all I got.
Thanks, Travis.
Thank you, Travis.
Under new business, we have Resolution 380, establish a fee for at-anchor moorage within the boundaries of our DNR lease. That has to do with the North Shore Marina area and dock. We had people winter mooring there when the rates went up for summer mooring. They just basically moved their boat 25, 30 feet away, dropped anchor, but still sort of coming and going as they please. So Larry came up with a fee for mooring within the DNR lease. What's that?
$100 a month.
But what's the DNR lease area?
It's 100 yards.
100 yards from
Does
the
that
shoreline.
apply out here too? Okay.
100 yards from the shoreline or 100 yards from the docking facility?
It's from the shoreline.
So then we have, everybody have the resolution and has read it.
I have.
Would entertain a motion to approve resolution number 380. And if somebody could read it.
Sure, I'll go ahead and
Thanks,
read it.
Judy.
Now there be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners, after duly considering all the relevant evidence and testimony presented, hereby creates a new rate structure for vessels moored at anchor on its DNR lease. From June 1st until September 30th of each year, vessels may be moored at anchor a minimum of 150 feet from any dock or structure on the port's DNR lease at a cost of $100 per month per vessel. At anchor moorage will be prohibited between October 1st and May 30th. The only moorage available between those dates will be at dockside at the established rates and subject to the port's established policies. So I move that we accept resolution.
A motion to accept resolution number 380.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 381. Resolution BFPA authorizing resolution for the grant application. Somebody could read that one aloud. I do have a question on that during discussion.
That one's long. Shall I
Yeah.
read that one? You
Yeah.
want to listen to it all?
Yeah. go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, it's 2 pages. Jeez.
It is 2 pages. Resolution 381. Now therefore be it resolved, the Executive Director, Larry Coppola, is authorized to make formal application to the Recreation and Conservation Funding Board for grant assistance. Number 2, our organization has reviewed the sample project agreement on the Recreation, I'm going to just put it as RCO website, and then it lists it, and authorizes Executive Director Larry Coppola to enter into such a project agreement if funding is awarded. We understand and acknowledge that the project agreement will contain the indemnification applicable to any sponsor and waiver of sovereignty immunity applicable to tribes and other terms and conditions that are contained in the sample project agreement. The sample project agreement may be revised periodically by RCO, and our government recognizes, our organization, recognizes that such changes might occur prior to our authorized representative signing the actual project agreement. And we accept the responsibility and the presumption that our authorized representative shall have conferred with us as to any such changes before he or she executes the project agreement on behalf of our organization and so executes with our authorization. Number 3, any grant assistance received will be used for only direct eligible and allowable costs that are reasonable and necessary to implement the project referenced above. Number 4, our organization expects our matching share of project funding will be derived from our own funds, in-kind contributions, and general obligation bond, and that pursuant to WAC 286-13-040. We must certify the availability of match at least 1 month before funding approval. In addition, our organization understands it is responsible for supporting all non-cash commitments to this project should they not materialize. Number 5, we acknowledge that if RCO Funding Board approves grant assistance for the projects, RCO will pay us on only a reimbursement basis. We understand reimbursement basis means that we will only request payment from the RCO after we incur eligible and allowable costs and pay them. The RCO may also determine an amount of retainage and hold that amount until the project is complete. Number 6, we acknowledge that any property owned by our organization that is developed, renovated, or restored with grant assistance must be dedicated for the purpose of the grant in perpetuity after the project is complete until otherwise provided and agreed to by our organization and the RCO Funding Board in the project agreement or an amendment thereto. Number 7, this authorization becomes part of a formal application to the RCO Board for grant assistance. Number 8, we provided appropriate opportunity for public comment on this application. Number 9, we certify that this application authorization was properly and lawfully adopted following the requirements of our organization and applicable laws and policies, and that the person signing as authorized representative is duly authorized to do so. There we go. So,
I have a question too.
Go ahead with discussion.
General obligation bond.
well, we don't have any currently.
Right.
No, we're debt-free except
Right,
yeah.
for what we need to pay back to the IDD for the water system. The $4,000, I think we owe $12,000 on that.
Okay.
But that's taking money from this pocket, putting it in this pocket. Other than that, we are debt-free.
Okay.
My question is, down here under Assistant Attorney General, does that, it says approved as due form, so he's approved this himself because it came from somewhere?
It came from RCO.
Okay.
They have a whole,
Because it looks like it was dated last week.
yeah, they have a whole section of these things, and you know, the grant is due tonight at midnight.
Right.
And I think what it is the creation date is the date I saved it.
Okay.
Yeah, I see this form is just like a boilerplate form.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Yeah.
I had to
and he
fill in the.
approved that last
I had
year.
to fill in the blanks and
Sure.
put my name
So
on
it's
it.
last
Yeah.
year, not last
Yeah, it was
week.
last year, so
Yeah, I was
it's an
thinking
approved
June
form.
26th.
Well, Commissioner, I move that we accept Resolution 381 as read.
I have a
Submitted.
motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Do you have a second?
Motion approved and made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Old business. Do we have anything under old business?
Yes, Richard, actually. We all had talked about the construction of a building here for the ACA, and you all wanted him to make a command appearance here,
Okay.
or command
Go
performance.
ahead, Richard.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna expect press and everything. I get to do the.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. There's been a lot of discussion over the years about putting a permanent stage. And I always, well, what fell in my hands that got me more interested at the what do we call it?
ABC Group.
Yeah, the ABC Group. For those not familiar, that's the Allyn Belfair Collaborative Group. And we came upon the architectural plans for the stage in Kingston. Now, Kingston's got it figured out. If you want to talk to people making money in their port or in their area, I say visit Kingston. They're letting us have these or use these. These are the plans. They cost thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Okay? And the stage. Now, what's interesting, just to give a visual, is I went up and took pictures. I've been going up there quite a bit. And it's not a large facility like some people envision. They were thinking this gigantic building. No, it's a very simple size and real simple. And not very big. It's about the size of the stage we're using at Allen Days now, except it has a cover over it. Keith Chamberlain looked at it and said, you know, we could build that pretty inexpensive.
So what kind of material for the roof?
It's wood beam, and
Okay.
let's see, if I remember right, I don't remember, it might be metal. but I can't
Metal
recall.
roofing?
Yeah, no,
Oh.
I don't recall exactly. I did take other photos of the underneath and I got pictures of the electronics or electricity. And the way we have the park set up, it's not going to be a problem. The other thing that I found interesting is they have a permanent, well, it's not permanent, they put it up, I think in June and take it down in September. And this is where their beer garden is, more permanent. Therefore, they have events almost every night, well, at least once a week, minimum, and every weekend. So they're busy putting on some kind of event. If you look at the KidSat guide, and Mason hasn't done this yet, is they list all the parks that are having musical events every night or during the week. And it's almost nightly in all the different parks. We don't do that except Shelton.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So, because one of the biggest issues has been, you know how the sound carries across to Victor? How close, excuse me, is this park to a lot of homes?
Well, it's downtown Kingston. I'd say homes, no different than about that distance to Victor.
And they're okay with that?
Closer, I think, yeah.
Well, how do I answer that politically correct?
Is it a very
Yeah, it's close to the ferry off to the right.
How is the size in relation to our park and their park?
Size-wise,
Yeah.
it's almost identical.
Okay.
Ours is a little bigger.
Acreage-wise?
Huh?
Acreage-wise?
I don't know. That's a question I would call the...
They probably have 350 parking spots.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
But
but
most
it's
of that's
all
taken up
parking.
by
Mortgage.
mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay? Parking's an issue anywhere.
I think if we, something like that, where you'd build it and there would be a lot of music here, I think we probably need to include the Victor people in that discussion.
Sure.
You know.
In fact, there's only certain places that, can I put this right here? Or-
Sure, yeah,
or-
go ahead.
Pass this around. This was just snapshots, There's only several places you can put the stage. You can't face it east because then the audiences won't be able to see it. That was if you notice the last 4 or 5 Allyn days, we've been placing the stage and experimenting. This area, now I'm going to move it again, but if you look in the corner where it's shaded right now, it's going to be facing kind of that way, okay? Because what I found is when the evening, we have a lot of seniors in the area that watch some of this music, and the sun hits them at that 5:30 to 6:30. You don't want it in their eyes, but if we angle it, I noticed in the evening, the sun only hits you on the side, and it's not as bad. The ideal spot, which I would open a can of worms, but I like doing that, is where the current barbecue is. Would be an ideal location because that would face east, but because of the natural vegetation and the location of the gazebo, both entertainers and audience would have no difficulty. It's out of the way. It doesn't block any views. The entertainers have a good view. The audience has a good view, and you can use the gazebo. And you can do it like they do in Bend, Oregon. If you've ever been to Bend, Oregon, they do winter festivals, and they put a big tent from there right up to their stage. Then you got an indoor venue. And you can do that with a gazebo. Gazebo would be the kitchen area, and walk in, and you can have events all winter long. Got to think outside the box. But that location's good. And I talked to some of the sound people. I said, what if we moved that barbecue and moved it more up in this direction? Now open the can of worms even bigger for you guys. What if we turn this area into a commercial kitchen and have storage? Because this all started with us trying to find storage, the ACA. Finding storage because it takes us all week to set up our Allyn days. Thank you, Jeff. A lot of stuff, okay? So God, what if half of it's kitchen stuff? We have a big grill now that we'd be glad to have the port uses of as part of their fundraiser. Because you got weddings, people, they ask you about all the time, do you have a kitchen? We do that when we went and do different events. Where do you have a kitchen at? We don't have it. So that could be done, and that solves our storage problem, okay? And we could do the food area up in this general area where we have those type of, like salmon bake festival and food areas. And then make where the current salmon is would be the entertainment area, and it's off the way, and the music would face that way. And they got the hills blocking. So those are dreams, but the reason the main purpose of being here is saying the stage is not big. It's where you go.
What's the square footage?
You know, it's on there. I could leave you the plans if you guys would like to review them, because that. Well, I can't remember. The fella that did this had passed away, I think was the thing, and said, "Oh, you guys can have this." This is it's beautiful. I mean, this saves lots of money and it can be tweaked. But I'd be glad to let the port review it, the manager or executive director look at it, because this is something I would seriously consider. We have seed money for the stage, $20,000 that the community, well, we got it from Microsoft. Yeah. And we have, I don't know if you know what's going on in our community. We've got new people coming in doing businesses, buying commercial property. We haven't had that in 8 to 10 years.
No, it's been a long time.
We have new blood started coming here and go, wow, this is such a neat little community we can do things with. So now it's time for people like me getting back and raising a little trouble.
When you talk about the community, what are you talking about? What's the community?
Allyn, the community of Allyn. Yeah.
Because the port is
Yeah, I know you have
Allyn,
much about
Belfair,
Allyn, but
Lynch
you got,
Cove.
your main focus or picture is here. That's what we see in Allyn.
Right.
Okay, I know you got.
The tax base comes from
I understand.
a larger area. My constituents are Belfair. Judy's constituents are Belfair. Jean's are Allyn. So that's a consideration
Yeah, we
of ours.
understand that.
Yeah.
That's why we, as the Allyn Community Association, want to help in the financing, the building, just like the gazebo. That was
Donated by the ACA.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's our game.
Yeah.
All right. And when this festival, I'll be doing a survey this go around on next week, asking people on location, how they feel, entertainment. I know the reason we went to this site is because of what happened with Danny Vernon, the Elvis impersonator,
By the road.
and what happened with he could not see his audience and had to change his whole act and step off of the stage. Nobody knew that was going on, but it upset him. But the audience liked him interacting.
So are you proposing it against the playground? That's your first proposal?
No, not
You still want it,
actually.
so you would like it over by the...
I think the best after walking it, I'm going to be doing a few more days, morning and afternoon, but every time I go over to that section over there,
Where the grill
the
is.
shade is perfect. And there's a slight slope, so audience can kind of look down, almost even, because the stage is only what, I think, not
Figure
even
out how, yeah.
a couple of feet, not even a foot. Also, you notice that there was people when I was there, everybody says meet at the gazebo or they meet at the stage. They put these big chairs in there just for, people taking photographs and visitors. It's busy all day long. I did talk to the groundskeepers, guess what they said? They said, if we like our permanent beer garden and kind of a mini kitchen, we're going to build a permanent structure like this one. So they're thinking ahead all the time too, because guess what? They're making money in Kingston. That's a good thing. I hear you talk about money. Use it.
So how many square feet is it? Did you see?
Oh, I took pictures inside. Look inside.
Well, I mean the one that you've proposed there.
Sorry. Who reads well? Let's see. It should be on here.
Doesn't look like it from that side.
It'll be on the next step.
Oh, wait. Here we
If it's too much of a hassle, Richard, that's okay. We'll
Yes.
look. That's
go.
okay.
It says in here somewhere, but I don't read these that well. If I were to guess, it's about 24 by 20. About the size of the stage we currently have. I think
pretty
our
good
stage
size.
is around 20 by...
Back to the same old size. The small size.
If it's that big?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you look at it, you can tell that's not that big across, if you look at it.
And it's not raised up, is it?
Yeah,
I can't
about
see
a
that
foot.
part. Okay.
Yeah. Simple
All
roof
right.
on it.
So it's about half the size of this room.
So for our consideration would be to think of something like that. That would be a change to our strategic plan. We would have to add that and have some public
It's time
comment.
to consider that.
Yeah,
We've been talking about the stage thing for I don't know how many years. I mean, the way we work in Mason County, we do everything in decades. I think it's about time we make changes. We get serious about it, quit sitting on our butts, sorry. The issue, I don't know if you realize what we're doing. We set up a clubhouse, people are coming into it. We're holding meetings that are more community related on all kinds of subjects. We're not holding just basic meetings anymore. It's more town hall style. And these are the kind of discussions. What can we do to make this a lively community? Okay? And the park's the main focus. This is it.
Yep.
And we need storage. Okay, this is better than what I was originally going to hit you on, is putting a storage unit somewhere on the property.
It is better than that.
Yeah. So, and we do have that problem. So I would like to open up dialogue. We can meet with Larry. He can pass it on to you and see if we can be a part of any planning for the park and getting this stage thing actually be real. And I can only see 2 locations right now.
Yeah. Well, thanks
Okay.
for the input. Appreciate it.
Any more
Yeah.
questions?
No, not really,
I
maybe
haven't
later.
eaten yet either, so.
Oh.
I think probably if we go further and discuss it, just like I said, we need to make sure the people in Victor are included
Sure.
in that.
Do you want me to leave this with you for review or?
The plans?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd like, or even just take a picture of it
No,
or
I thought
something.
maybe.
Yeah, we can leave it
You
here
can
and
take a picture
Larry
of it
can
or
get it
something.
Sure,
back to you.
I'd like to.
Do you know
see
if
it.
Tom Coltis was the one that built that?
I don't know.
Because he did recently pass away.
That's probably.
And he was a builder, and I think he was a port commissioner at one point.
Yeah, I think that's the gentleman. I think his name's
Oh.
on there. But that was a nice gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Richard.
Any other public comment? Jeff?
Just, I don't know, did the county get a copy of the updated plan to you, to the board or to the port?
Which
You know, for
plan?
the roads?
I didn't see
Local
it.
access? Okay.
I didn't see it.
They haven't got it to TIPCAP yet, but I know that it's started to circulate through the county, so that's that first phase, the Allyn one, and then the second one's gonna be Belfair, which will start sometime in the summer, the remaining part of the summer through fall. But I know, at least the way the grant, or the scope of work was written up, that they're gonna try to wrap it up this year for Belfair.
Yeah, that's North Mason Community Voice, I think, may have one of those meetings. I'm
Okay.
hoping. We'll see.
And then TIPCAP, which I'm on that committee right now, they're having, let's see, July, so this month and next month we'll be going over the 1-year and 6-year transportation improvement projects. And again, look at those things. If I get it, I'll shoot a copy of the, the plan as it is, but the port needs to participate. And I know the one in Allyn, you're kind of like catch up to what already happened, but supposedly they're submitting that to the commissioners, or the commissioners have it already, so the county commissioners. So, yeah, basically the Allyn one's in draft to the county, and the Belfair one will start here in July. And then the transportation improvement projects for 1 year and 6 years. So, if you have anything, or thinking about anything, probably best contact would be like Loretta Swanson,
Okay.
at the county. So,
Does that list include just county funds for things, or is it state funds?
it's the transportation improvement projects. It's
Yeah.
basically it shows where they get monies,
Okay,
but it's county projects. It's not projects on state highways typically.
okay.
Although
That
the
answers
sidewalks
that.
in Belfair, it kind of comes up to, on a little bit to state but most of it's county, 99% of it, so.
Okay, yeah, I was just concerned about
Joe,
Highway 300.
did the consultants finish their report yet on their transportation study of this area?
That draft is before the county commissioners,
Good.
and hopefully, because I'm pushing on them to at least get control of, look at getting control and access to Wheelwright, Masterson and Wayne. Just, not the whole plat, but just get the key links there, so. As well as circulation down here in the waterfront, so. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Ken VanBuskirk from Belfair. Last week, I attended the Board of County Commissioner briefing by the consultant doing that Belfair transportation study. They submitted a list of stakeholders to the Board of County Commissioners that they're going to interview these folks prior to the general public, and that list currently includes Mr. Coppola and Commissioner Scott. A member of the Board of County Commissioners asked that they also include the person that caused the uproar last year when he was text messaging with a quorum of your board. I would ask that when Mr. Coppola and Commissioner Scott meet with the consultant, that they ask that they interview your entire board, please. Also, regarding the Porta Duato letter that you read into the record this evening, it was a topic of discussion at the last Porta Duato meeting, and it sounded like there was some additional comments that were not included in that letter. And I would ask that you, when you meet with the Duato board chair, get a copy of those last meeting minutes and submit them into your record. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Arla?
Could Larry or someone just go over what the RCO grant will be for?
Sure. Excuse me. We want to bring water and power down the pier to the dock and create 12 slips for boats 26 feet and over. And they'd have, water and power pedestals. There'd be 7 of them out there. Excuse me. Excuse me. They'll have 30 amp and 50 amp connections. And then each one will have 2 hose bibs. 2 boats, a chair, 1 pedestal.
Any other public comment? If you're the new Shelton Journal reporter? Dana? Scott? This is my good side, by the way, so next time. Last name?
Yeah, Kampa.
Kampa.
Yeah,
Thanks for
She was
coming.
at the North Mason Community Voice even. That was great. Thank you for attending. That was great.
No other public comment? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second. So moved.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
So are you the new reporter from Wisconsin?
Yes, 6:58.
I heard, yeah.
Told Heidi 7.
It won't be as cold out here normally.